Hi everyone, welcome along to our QIPCO British Champions Series preview of Royal Ascot. We have 5 days of quality racing in store in the height of summer at one of the most prestigious racecourses anywhere in the world. But before we hear from a few of the key Royal Ascot players in 2013, let's reflect on our latest series of racing from Epsom over Derby weekend. And it was Aidan O'Brien who ruled the world.
And they're off and racing. It's Secret Gesture who leads the Oaks with just over a furlong to travel, and it's Talent, the stable companion, who's coming after the leader. Grace Beckett with a 1-2, and it's the outside of Talent. He moves through the lead for a shot in the Oaks. Secret Gesture and the Lark battling out second, but it's Talent, another classic from Richard Hughes, and a 1-2 for Grace Beckett. Five runners for the Investec Coronation Cup are off and sent on their way. St Nicholas Abbey showed the better initial turn of foot. Was it enough to see off Dunedin, who's still got 3 lengths to find? They now enter the final furlong. St Nicholas Abbey is holding Dunedin back. In third is Joshua Tree, and St Nicholas Abbey will make it 3 Investec Coronation Cup in a row. They're off. Early interference for Dawn Approach, who's key midfield, throwing the head from side to side. And despite any stamina doubts, Dawn Approach is going to go to the lead in the Derby, a long way from home. Ruler of the world leads the Derby from Battle of Marengo. Then Galileo Rock, Libertarian from a long way back. But it's Ruler of the world, Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore, who lead the Derby field up to the line. And it's Ruler of the world who won the Derby.
A really big weekend, wasn't it, for Aidan O'Brien? And St Nicholas Abbey, who won his 3rd straight Coronation Cup, he has moved now with 124 points to the top of the middle distance standings, and with a win in the Epsom Derby as well. Aidan O'Brien is at the top of the trainers' standings, but Rafe Beckett having a 1-2, a memorable and historic 1-2 in the Epsom Oaks, with Talent leading home stable companion Secret Gesture. Rafe Beckett is hot on his heels, but with Royal Ascot providing us with so many QIPCO British Champions Series races, it could all change over the next few days. The first race in the series, and the first race of the week for that matter, is the Queen Anne in the mile category. And in the build-up to Royal Ascot 2013, we learnt of the very sad news of the passing of a true racing legend, Sir Henry Cecil, who had, in his career, trained 75 Royal Ascot winners, making him the winningmost trainer at Royal Ascot of all time. One of those winners came in the Queen Anne 12 months ago, in the form of the world's best racehorse, Frankel, who lit up Royal Ascot.
And this is a procession. It's now Frankel who's drawing away. What a performance! The superb, the spectacular Frankel.
It really was a mind-blowing performance by Frankel 12 months ago, and every time you see it, it encapsulates the same emotions, and it really was just a wonderful day. This year, the Queen Anne, the talk is all about one horse, the international horse that is Animal Kingdom. And we've decided to get a little bit technical on this year's Royal Ascot preview, because we gave John Velasquez a helmet cam, and we can watch Animal Kingdom now in his first experience of the Royal Ascot track. He is an international horse because he's trained by an Englishman who is based in America, ridden by the Puerto Rican John Velasquez, and there's a link as well with Australia through the Arrowfield lineup as well. He's so classy. He's won 2 Group 1s already on dirt and tappeta, and he's hoping to become the first horse in the world to ever win 3 Group 1s on 3 different surfaces. He's yet to win a Group 1 on turf, but that is what he is hoping to do at Ascot. By all accounts, connections were delighted with his first try at Ascot, and it's a slightly more tougher test than people make out. But Animal Kingdom, you can't deny his class. With a Kentucky Derby win and a win in the world's richest race, the Dubai World Cup, he is the one they've all got to beat. Well, sadly for me, but I suppose luckily for our accounts team, we haven't had to send the cameras around the world in the build-up to Royal Ascot, hearing from connections, because they all arrived in the UK with plenty of time to spare in the build-up to Royal Ascot. And for trainer Graham Motion, it's about tuning a horse up for the big day. For jockey, it's about riding the track. But for charismatic Team Valor boss Barry Irwin, it's all about the pedigree.
Here's what I like, okay? I like a foreign-bred mare that comes from a family that had a lot of soundness and stamina. That's his dam. His dam was a Group 3 winner going 1.25 miles. She beat Soldier Hollow at Baden-Baden in a proper race. So I knew she was good.
Yeah.
Plus she was gorgeous. And I mated her with a horse called Loire de Sanamo. It's another horse that I syndicated.
Bobby Frankel trained.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was a brilliant miler.
Yeah.
So if you can get a miler or a 7 furlong horse on top of a 10 furlong horse, you're going to get something that could be an American classic horse, and for sure will be, you know, an 8 or 9 furlong horse. If they can go farther, that's great. But in America, we don't run that far, you know. So that's, I've done really well. We had a Breeders' Cup winner using same kind of thing, where I brought a mare in from South Africa. We mated her with More Than Ready, who was a 7 furlong horse. We got a Breeders' Cup winner. So that's my theory.
They don't come that often, horses like that. They can do the same thing in different surface. So, you know, he's done it in the poly track or the tapeta, and dirt and the grass. He seems to handle old surface very well. So they don't come that often for a horse to do that through three different surfaces.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, you've ridden some of the great horses in the last 20 years or so. How would you compare him?
By far, he's one of the best horses at breeding, though. You know, for a horse to do that through different surfaces and done the things he's done is definitely a special horse.
And do you think, as a horse, that his asset is stamina or a turn of foot?
He's done it all. He's done it all. So that's why it makes him special. And going back to the same thing, running through the three different surfaces and going to 1.25 miles to a mile, and he's done it all. So I think he's very versatile.
The interesting thing about this horse, Animal Kingdom, is that he's raced successfully outside of America, such as Dubai, for example.
Where he didn't use Lasix, which he has used in the States, and there was no difference. And in fact, you could argue that was his career best performance.
Yes, it was an incredible performance. And he'll be doing the same thing here. So that's another compelling reason for him. We're thrilled to have him on board.
What does it mean to John Velazquez to possibly win this race?
It means a lot. I mean, just to be here in Ascot and be part of it, and obviously be very special to win it with him. Winning the Derby with him, and obviously, it'll be incredible to come here and get it done.
It really would be wonderful scenes if indeed Animal Kingdom is to kick off Royal Ascot 2013 with a truly international win in the Queen Anne. But perhaps it could be a local trained winner in the form of Trade Storm, trained by David Simcock. And Trade Storm had such a good time of it in Dubai during the carnival, and he was so impressive. But he's up against it seemingly in the form book with the mighty Animal Kingdom, the Dubai World Cup winner. I went down to David Simcock's stables at Trillium Place in Newmarket, and he's hoping that Tradestorm can spring a surprise.
Really happy with him. He's in good health. He's showing all the right signs. I think he'll go there in very, very good order. Whether he's good enough, we'll have to wait and see.
He had such a good time of it in Dubai. How is he, and how did he take the carnival as a whole?
He trained very well over there. The whole routine suited him. He was very progressive, as you know, and we were actually delighted finishing 4th on World Cup night. It was very much a step up on the Jubilee mile that he won earlier, and no, he's definitely going the right way.
He was so impressive in the Jubilee mile. Did his performances in Dubai and the level he reached surprise you at all?
We've always been hopeful he'd make up into a nice horse. The Jubilee mile probably on paper was actually a thin race for a Group 2. What pleased me most is what he achieved on World Cup night. That was a proper test.
Is he an easy horse to train?
He's very straightforward. He's a very good ride. The biggest problem is he puts weight on quickly. He's a hard horse to get fit. We took him for an away day at Great Lees 3 weeks ago. Worked very well, and he does his last piece of work tonight, and that's him already.
Do you have concerns that his best form is abroad and he's yet to sort of show that form in England?
No, not really. I think you win a top handicap like he did at York, and he won it very comfortably. You have to look through his Ascot race. It's worked out very, very well. Boom and bust. Malakloff was behind him, and he's a genuine Group 3 horse. No, I think at the moment there's a very fine line between top end handicapper and Group 3 horse, listed stroke Group 3 horse. Anyway, if I'm brutally honest, you take Animal Kingdom out, they're not a vintage bunch of Group 1 milers. So, that gives you just that little bit more confidence to go into a race like that and think you're going to run well.
So that is the first race of the week looked at, the Queen Anne in the first race over the 5 days in the British Champions Series. Last year, punters got off to a flying start with the short price favourite and the world's best racehorse, Frankel, delivering the goods. Will Animal Kingdom put a smile on punters' faces at the beginning of the week? We will find out very soon. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be a very memorable start to the week. The next race we're going to take a look at is the King's Stand Stakes, and it's a dash for the cash over the Flying Five and a first chance for the sprinters to take a look at Ascot in 2013. The current ratings, the current British Champions Series ratings, sees Reckless Abandon come out on top with a score of 115, but as you can see, it's a very tight division, and there's lots of horses very closely matched. Not only that in terms of the UK horses, but once again at Royal Ascot, the Aussies are assaulting the track, and they've had such a good time of it in recent years, notably 12 months ago with the mighty Black Caviar. It's not just about the Aussies though, because plenty of UK interest, and we can hear from the international connections ahead of the King's Stand. You've been given the tag by many, including myself, if you don't mind me saying, of the Sprint King, Robert Cowell.
Right.
What does it take for a horse to win a sprint race, a QIPCO British Champions Series race at Royal Ascot?
Well, we did it once, obviously, with Prohibit, and that was really, really special. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot of luck and a lot of maybe not luck as such, but people wouldn't expect a small yard to be picking up races like that. So it was, again, extremely gratifying to win something as special as that. This year, I think I'm actually going into it with two realistic chances rather than being confident or hopeful. I'm actually going there expecting something, whereas before I wouldn't have been. But they take a lot of winning.
Final question, and sort of quite a general one, but going into this year's renewal at Ascot, have you seen improvement from Kingsgate Native from Haydock, and have you seen continued improvement in Spirit Court?
Yeah, well, yes, I have, from both horses, to be frank. And the Palace House at Newmarket was a really exciting run and he ran better than I thought he would, because although his preparation had been fantastic, he was by no means fit for that day. And then to see him improve again 3 or 4 pounds, 5 pounds running in the Temple Stakes was another big, another massive effort and another step forward. And I think Spirit Courts has done the same thing. But I think the track matters to Spirit Courts more than anything. He needs that sort of flatter track.
I can confirm there's no issues about him meeting up, because he's certainly got an appetite if the grasses are in to go by. He does look $1 million, Robert. Very best of luck next week.
Yeah, cheers, Oli. Thank you.
I'm very happy the way he's travelled. He seems to be adapting to training here in Newmarket. So, really at this stage, no complaints.
How have you had to, or have you had to alter his training from that in Dubai?
We unfortunately have had to, because he's so used to going around turns there, flat, fast. Whereas, most of it's on an uphill, very few, well, there is no circular tracks really, although we took him to Great Lees today to work there. Just because I felt he needed to get on the turn just to relax early and finish his work off a bit better. Because the problem here is, he gets on the track, he sees daylight, all he wants to do is get busy. So I'm happy. Listen, it's not easy. He's had 5 weeks to adjust, but certainly, I like what I see.
He'll run in the King's Stand. He'll be midfield or back. We just balance him and make sure he hits the line really well. And provided he runs really well in the King's Stand, we'll probably keep him for the July Cup.
How long have you thought about Royal Ascot with him?
Look, it was the obvious thing after he won the Newmarket. Being a colt, obviously it's a Group 1 in Australia is great for him, but if he happens to win one over here as well, it makes him a lot more commercial. His form down the straight's very good too. The racing after the Newmarket in Australia, there's no Group 1 straight races until November in the Patnack, so we thought it'd be no issue for a horse like him to come over here and run a couple of times here in the summer, and then he could still be back in Australia for the Patnack.
Is it confirmed who rides him next week?
Craig Newitt, who won the Newmarket on him, he'll ride him in the King's Stand as well.
How excited are you about the prospect of going back to Royal Ascot?
Yeah, look, it's a great meeting. I mean, it's certainly, you're always happy to go there, and certainly with a horse you think you can win. We were a bit frustrated last time. We ran second in the King's Stand and third in the Jubilee, so we'd be really excited if we can go back there and get the first win on the board.
Will he have 2 handlers on the day?
Actually, he can be a bit of a handful to saddle up. So, there'll be a couple of us there saddling him. But no, he's a very nice colt. He's just got a bit of personality.
Yeah, a bit hyper. Danny, thanks for your time, mate.
No problem.
It's all about speed in the King's Stand, and for a few of the horses who line up in the King's Stand, Connections will have one eye on doing the double, like Choisir did a few years ago in winning the King's Stand and then going on a few days later and winning one of the other big sprint races over the course of the 5 days, the Diamond Jubilee. On Tuesday, it's a case of great race after great race after great race. And the St James's Palace Stakes on day one of Royal Ascot just got a whole lot more exciting, because in the last few days it was announced by the Godolphin operation that their star horse, the big name in their ranks, Dawn Approach, trained over in Ireland by Jim Bolger, will be lining up in the St James's Palace Stakes. Albeit he was very disappointing in the Epsom Derby when sent off favourite, you can't take away his achievements to date. Champion 2-year-old last year and hugely impressive winner of the QIPCO 2000 Guineas. He is one of a number of horses lining up in this year's St James's Palace Stakes.
Dawn Approach research on the climb up the hill. Toronado now under pressure. Glory Awaits is back in third place. It's Dawn Approach who's 2 to 3 lengths clear in the Guineas. Glory Awaits running a blinder as Toronado runs out of puff. But Dawn Approach, 7 from 7, wins the QIPCO 2000 Guineas. An important success for Godolphin.
The straight looming large, the final furlong and a half. Moore comes wide on Magician. Away to the right, Contributor stakes his claim, and then Glacial Age, but it's Magician in front and beginning to surge clear, with Moore waving the wand, but a few flourishes will do as Magician draws right away. It's O'Brien again in the D stakes.
Down into the dip now. Let's see what happens as they come into the dip. On the far side, Toronado still moves well. Dundonnell under pressure. Havana Gold under pressure. Torhid is out of it. Now Richard Hughes has Toronado to quicken. He's still 2 lengths clear. Let's see what he's got inside the final furlong. Toronado's coming away, and he's going to win the Craven very impressively indeed. Good performance. Toronado is first.
Despite very positive reports from the Hannon and Hughes camp going into the QIPCO 2000 Guineas, sadly Toronado wasn't able to reproduce the Craven form that we just saw. But I caught up with Richard Hughes at Salisbury in the week, and he's confident and hopeful that Toronado can bounce right back.
We're very pleased with him. Hopefully we can rectify the problem. I felt in the Guineas, soon after the jump when I took him back, I felt something was amiss. His palate went, and he wasn't getting much air most of the way down, so he ran an extremely good race to run as well as he did, I felt.
What have you done with him at home between the Guineas and Royal Ascot?
Change yards, and we have him. There's a sand gallop in Everley, and it's polytrack in Herridge, so every day he's going in behind the horse just to get his head down and relax. Through circumstances we had to make the run in Doncaster, went down on him, and then in the Craven nothing wanted to go on, so I let him go on, and then the one day I asked him to come back, he fought me and he got a bit of a fright, so should be no problem to come Ascot.
How important is it for you this season for him to win a real big race, given the confidence you had going into the 2000 Guineas? Things went wrong that day. Is it really important that he is able to show his best, the sort of promise that he's got?
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference to me. I've been wrong about horses before, it's no skin off my nose. I just love for the horse, for people to see that what I feel that they can see.
So very best of luck to Richard Hughes and all Team Toronado in what is, on paper anyway, seemingly one of the races of the week, with the inclusion, as we mentioned before, of the mighty Dawn Approach. That's Tuesday, all covered here on this QIPCO British Champions Series Royal Ascot preview, and it sets us up perfectly for the 4 days to follow. We're going to move on to Wednesday now. We're going to take a look at the Prince of Wales's Stakes over 1.5 miles. Come with me on a guided tour around the Royal Ascot track. This race is for 4-year-olds. They start over 12 furlongs, 1.5 miles in total. And they head around what you'll hear in commentary is called Swinley Bottom into the Royal Ascot Straight. And it's quite a test as well, uphill inside the closing stages. But as the crowd line the rails in their top hat and tails, the jockeys start to move into position here, urge their mounts along ahead of the final 2 furlongs. It's such a prestigious meeting. It means so much to trainers, jockeys and owners to have a Royal Ascot winner. So that's a look at the track and what faces this year's Prince of Wales contenders and candidates, who include Camelot, who's always had a massive reputation, and last time out his reputation was dented because he was beaten by Al-Kazim. But Camelot is hoping for redemption at Royal Ascot. He's one of a number of live chances in this year's renewal.
And now Camelot moves past Astrology into third his main sequence, but up towards the line it is Camelot who leads by 3 or 4 lengths from Astrology, and at the line the father and son combination of Joseph and Aidan O'Brien won the Investec Derby with Camelot.
Heading down with a furlong to go. Thomas Chippendale on the right. Al-Kazim one off the rails. It's between this pair now as Ector weakens back in third. Al-Kazim though in front as they race towards the line. A half length ahead. Coming back at him is Ector, but Al-Kazim after a long layoff.
The Fugues pulled out, but Timepiece is still out in front. Izzy topped the Fugues, however, staying on strongly was his rallying, and the Fugue, a blistering turn of foot, carries her to the front, and she wins the Market Insurance Nassau Stakes in dominant fashion.
We're going to move on to Thursday now, and we're going to take a look at the feature race on Thursday, which is the highly prestigious and historic Ascot Gold Cup. 12 months ago was a huge year for the royal family, with the Queen celebrating her Diamond Jubilee. She was also celebrating at Royal Ascot because Estimate provided her with another Royal Ascot winner. Estimate lines up once again in 2013 and has a really live chance in what is an open renewal of the Ascot Gold Cup.
Estimate with a furlong and a half to last. In second place is Athens. Back in third is Ed the Gas, a furlong to go. And it's the Royal Runner Estimate who leads the Queen's vast field by 3 lengths. In second place is Athens, third is Ed the Gas, and Ascot will stage its very special Diamond Jubilee celebration as the Royal Runner Estimate wins the Queen's Vase.
Moving on to Friday now, and it's a time for the fillies to shine in the Coronation Stakes. Just a few days ago, I was at Salisbury and I caught up with champion jockey and jockey of Sky Lantern, Richard Hughes, with an update on her well-being ahead of Royal Ascot.
She's great, she's put on weight, she's probably definitely a better filly now than she was going into the Guineas. She's certainly stronger and she's moving extremely well, so we're hoping for a big run.
So by that token, we may not have seen the best Sky Lantern yet.
Well, just the judges come on again. She won very well in Ireland. She'll probably go off favourite. We've beaten her once, so we'll try and beat her again.
So champion jockey Richard Hughes is flying high in the British Champions Series jockey standings, but Jamie Spencer, Ryan Moore and Joseph O'Brien are hot on his heels, and they are all likely to have very big rides in the Coronation Stakes. And we can take a look at the contenders now.
Here comes Sky Lantern against the rails, also staying on his Hot Snap as well. Hot Snap in the pink colours, on the far side the grey Sky Lantern. It's Hot Snap, Tom Quayle for Sir Henry Cecil and Prince Khalid Abdullah. Hot Snap is going to win the Nelquin and win it stylishly. Sky Lantern is second.
What a name, Hot Snap trying to respond. Ollie Olga, Sky Lantern from a long way back, and Moth, whose pass was blocked. Just the Judge moves through the press, Winning Express. Then on the far side, Sky Lantern. Moth's had a troubled passage, is now out in the clear. It's Just the Judge on the stand side, Sky Lantern. Between the pair, Winning Express. Snow Queen thundering home with Maureen. Just the Judge, Sky Lantern. Over the top, they go for the line, the Guineas. Sky Lantern!
Saturday's feature is the Diamond Jubilee, and once again we're going to take you on a guided tour because, like the King's Stand, this is a sprint race, except the King's Stand over 5 furlongs, the Diamond Jubilee will be run over 6 furlongs. So the 6 furlong straight course that faces them we can see now. They do say actually in the Diamond Jubilee you need a horse that stays 7 furlongs because it's a bit more of a test than people make out, and you'll see as they come inside the final 2 furlongs it dips in and then rises up inside the final furlong. A little bit of a hill that can find out horses, as it nearly did Black Caviar 12 months ago. Bryce, I'm sorry about the weather, but other than that,
So you should be.
how are you finding England?
Look, it's a real thrill to be here, and we're in a privileged position and very fortunate and afforded the opportunity with Cornwall as the owners now to have made the decision to bring her up here and represent Fastnet Rock, and we're confident she'll acquit herself well. But look, it's as I said, it's an absolute thrill to be here.
She looks $1 million. To my eye, is she always like this?
She was in Sea Siren was in dynamite form last year. You know, she was winning Group 1 weight for age sprints as a 3-year-old. But not only that, what added merit to it was you know, like in the Doom and 10,000, you know, she was setting track records that have stood for a number of years, and that's, as I say, that added plenty of merit to what she was doing.
Are we yet to see the real Sea Siren this year, or this prep?
Well, we are. It's about getting her back there, and probably her last start run was probably somewhere thereabouts, you know.
How important is it for you and the O'Shea team for Sea Siren to add her name to the sort of Royal Ascot Roll of Honour of the Aussies that have taken prizes before them?
Yeah, I mean, look, let me make it clear. We're no trailblazers. It's been done before, you know. But you know, like, it's John's first trip up here with a horse, and we're privileged to be in this position to be able to do it and do it with a quality filly. And we're very hopeful. You know, I think she's got a great profile to run well in the race.
Last year we were lucky enough to see the two best racehorses in the world, Frankel at the start of the week and Black Caviar at the end of the week, light up Royal Ascot. I do hope you can join us in 2013, because once again we see the stars of the equine world line up in front of Her Majesty the Queen, and the tens of thousands that will go through the gates in their finery at Royal Ascot ahead of what promises to be a really special 5 days racing.
He's easing up on her, and he's just scraped in.
Shaves don't come much closer than that.